everyone. I'm Kim Graves from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union, and this is Jessica, and we are here for the ripple effect.
That's right.
Jessica, how are you?
Kim, I'm good. How about you?
Good. Another day.
Another day, another great guest for the ripple effect.
Another fabulous guest. So,
right.
Who do we have today?
We have Chris with us from the Housing Authority. Chris is
Hi,
the ROS
Chris.
coordinator. Chris, what does a ROS coordinator do?
So I am a middleman for services, so it stands for Resident Opportunity Self-Sufficiency program. So when people come into public housing and they don't have a lot of resources or they're new to our community, I present them with services inside our community.
So how are they referred to you? I mean, does someone, they go to the Housing Authority?
Once they do their intake, they come here, they fill out their application, they're on the wait list for some time.
Okay.
They get that, then my card's in that packet. So after that, then the intake special will call me and say, hey, it's a new mom, she's just a single mom, or where their situation is, and then I go and knock on their door and get in touch with them.
All right, I'll rewind it just a little bit just so folks know what the Housing Authority is, the services you provide. Just give us a brief overview, Chris.
So I've served all of the public housing vouchers, which is 375 within our community. So I serve Garden Square Apartments, Terrace Tower, Civic Tower, Dunbar, and Pine Valley. So I can't do any HCV referrals right now. We're trying to get that expanded. That would put us over about 2,000 people who serve like these services. So 375 is good right now. Right now I have about 65 in my program when it's going, since it just expanded. I was just at Garden Square, so I only could serve those people. Now we just got expanded. So it's
cool.
Continually growing, and word of mouth travels fast.
Yeah. So when you go and you knock on the door, you offer them, hey, do you need food? I mean, tell us everything that you offer them.
Yeah, the first thing is just kind of building a trust-based relationship with them. I mean, they don't know who I am, and there could be some ethnic barriers or a lot of trust barriers there.
And nobody wants to answer the door anymore. I mean, I know I don't. I'm like, who is this?
Sure,
I mean, I think that's going to be a hard no for me.
Yeah.
I am definitely not someone like the drop-bys, and my whole job is dropping by and knocking on the door, so I have to be very gentle of how I do that.
Yeah.
So once that does happen, though, it's usually once they get to know me and see that I'm just here to help, and I've seen it all and done it all. They're usually pretty receptive to some type of help, even though if they don't fully want to engage. But over time, and sometimes it takes months to a year to get them to fully engage. But usually, I can get them with some type of help.
Can you tell us what you offer them?
I can offer
to help.
Yeah, anything from if you need recertification with your lease, they don't understand that, or we have a computer lab. If you want to come in and use computer lab to sign up for jobs, or if you have drug addiction issue, I can refer you to Turning Point or mental health with 4C. I'm a firm believer in mental health. I think just being in that situation, poverty does cause trauma, especially in children.
Sure.
So one of the things that I brought on property was a mobile 4C in one of our old units that they can come there and break down that barrier of going to get that help. So they don't have to take the trolley to to the mental health services. They are on site.
Right.
So it breaks down that barrier to go get the help you need. And that could be anywhere from if you have anxiety to depression, but also they have case management out there too. So if you just need to get taken to appointments or med appointments, it really works well to break down that barrier.
And you tell them where the food pantries are.
Yeah.
And then if they need things for their home where they're living at, then you guide them in that direction as well.
I guide them in that, yeah. I put them in contact with, and this community has so many resources.
Yes.
It really does, and people are surprised what kind of help they can get. I just wish people knew about it more. I'm still learning different resources in this community, yearly. Places that
would be awesome if somebody in this community could develop a sheet and
I think we already have one. I think we have one.
There is so
I think we might have one already. Yeah.
To see it. Yeah. But have all the resources that are available with that.
I imagine
that organization.
You probably work with United Way when it comes to, because they have resource development officers that, I mean, Debbie knows everything about everybody and where to send people. And the network of providers and also of organizations that work together really really help people. I mean, it makes it really easy for people to have access to those resources and to thrive.
I think it's the hard part is getting them to engage. It's difficult, and I wouldn't want to engage either if that's the situation. But I think the one little thing that if they do engage, say, "Oh, it's here to help. We're not here to judge."
Is that what you're out there to do? Is to build that trust?
That's my whole job. So we went through our RAD conversion. I was the person that moved everybody, so I literally know every single person
Oh, wow.
Personal. We have some new ones that moved in, but I know them all.
Wait a minute. Did you physically help move?
I physically did not help. I mean,
come on.
a few times I might have moved a box or two. I try not to, but I facilitated the move, and which is good because they got a brand new unit. They got to a place where they can live with dignity. It looks nice, and they deserve to live in nice places. So I built those relationships early, and we have a lot of elderly residents through there. So it was nice. And once they see you help somebody there, word of mouth is the biggest thing for me. It really is. Yep.
So once you go and you pay that visit and you've built that rapport, then they know that they can trust you and they can contact you if something else comes up and they need your assistance to guide them in that right direction.
I mean, they've contacted me in some of the diet. They've gotten arrested. I've gone there to help them through that process. What's that like? So I think one of the misconceptions in our community is that people in poverty are criminals, and that's far from the case. If you look at the numbers and you look at people that do get arrested, they are not.
Are there criminals?
They are not public housing voucher holders because they lose their housing. Usually, if you get arrested for certain crimes, you lose your housing, and that's a big deal. Some people have never had stable housing.
Well, and I think that there is this stigma that people who might be homeless or might not know where to live don't have a brain, aren't smart enough to figure that out, and that is so far from the truth. Oh, that's the opposite of the truth.
It's complete opposite from the truth. I just think we have to really break down that barrier and engage with them. I think we invest in resources in that the crime goes down in the communities. I mean, that stigma needs to be broken.
When we talk about our first responders, police, fire, that they are there on our worst days, and you guys are there on the next day. So, we have that really bad thing that happens to us. We lose our home. We come to you, you help us.
Yes.
Now, as far as a wait list goes, is there a long one with the Housing Authority?
There is a long wait list Housing Authority. Our one bedroom is surprisingly our longest wait list. It could be anywhere from 9 months to a year. 2-3 bedrooms are available, but again, we're getting ready to transform the property, so sometimes they see the properties and they don't want to go there. So there is a huge need for that in our community. I think it's getting better, and I think it will continue to get better. But I think people have another misconception. They're coming here and creating crime. I think they're coming here
from Chicago. Yeah, they're coming from Chicago
that's the whole
to create crime.
The billboards up there, and that's a complete false.
That's so false.
They're coming here because it is a great community, and they do want to start a better life. I think one of the stories that one of the first people I met is she moved here from Chicago with 4 kids on her back and an air mattress, and I said, "Why did you leave?" And she said, "I was tired of walking my kids to school and getting shot." I said, "What do you mean by getting shot?" I said, "Every day I walk my kids to school, there would be gunshots on the street." So she came here with nothing on her back. And right now she's successful. She moved on to the FSS program, and she's got a job. She's a supervisor at a hotel here in town, working 60 hours a week. Her kids are doing well. So we have the resources in this community to break down the stigma that people in poverty are not criminals.
Sometimes you just need one thing. And sometimes you just don't know where to start.
You don't, and I think if you come to some of our events you come to our Juneteenth events, and you come to the things that we hold and meet these people, it's a total, from what you read on social media, it's not the case at all. Most people have jobs. They're an elderly population.
Oh, sure.
They're just trying to make it like anybody else, and they deserve a good place to live with dignity and safety.
Do you have any upcoming events that are,
as of right now, I don't, because I'm so individual based. I'll hold little events with
with the community.
It's smaller, so I don't have any events because I do work with them one-on-one.
Right.
Juneteenth's a big one, and a lot of our residents do come, and we really set that up because they don't come to the park. There's a stigma that they don't want to be integrated as well because of judgment or racism or anything like that. But we're slowly trying to break those barriers down to have them come because usually that's not the problem when they do attend.
Right.
I mean, talk about that mom with 4 children. I mean, percentage-wise, and I know you probably can't pull this off the top of your head, how many families are we seeing in low-income housing? I mean, it's a big deal for not just families, elderly people, single, it's everybody.
I would say the majority of people I work with now, I'd say 65% are families. Oh, wow. Yeah. And especially childhood trauma, living in poverty, where they're living and how they're living. We have a great homework club there with Ms. Angie Sanders, has been there for 30 years helping. That is huge and a huge resource for the families too. So it's you just see a lot of the kids are resilient more than you think. But if you get in with the parents and help the parents, then their kids will start thriving a little more.
Wow. Do we know, and you may not know this, but do we know what the total number of homeless people are at this point?
Homeless, no, I don't.
They do an annual count.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, how accurate is that?
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
we've talked about, we've bought resource cards about all things. So when I see someone panhandling, I will give them the card and try to set up, I'd like to set something up at the public library where they charge their phones and set up a Wi-Fi hotspot or a phone charging station. But you have to do applications for the housing authority while you do that. But homeless, I don't work with them as much. I'd like to, but we have to get them in the program for me to do that.
I don't know, but I mean, it's a great program. I mean, you're providing housing, and of course, when we spoke with Megan earlier, then, you know, that's a whole new program that can guide them in such a direction that can make a whole new difference in their life. But at least they'll have housing and they're off the streets and they're developing a relationship, and then they have all these resources. What a great program.
Oh, yeah.
Truly.
I think a lot of housing authorities, they have ROS coordinators, but they're so big. And I think we really do transform lives, and that's our goal. We want to keep you in house. We want to give your kids a safe place to live. We want to make you successful. We're not just, a roof over your head. We do want you to succeed and have all the resources and afford you to do that.
Do you think some of the other programs, and I'm not talking in Kokomo, but some of the other HUD programs are so large that the families get lost and they don't get that personal touch like they get here in Kokomo?
I think the process is difficult. I mean, some people, they've gone to school, never had any internet training or computer ability, and that's a difficult barrier for them. They don't have anybody to assist them through that. So I think it's just the scary feeling of I don't know even where to start. Especially these people probably have so much crisis throughout a day. I just had one of my residents say it's their first day signing up to the Excel Center for first day class, but her car battery went out. They don't have the money to fix the car battery. To get little barriers are every day. How am I going to get my kids from school? There's another barrier.
Right.
So every day there's so many barriers and hoops you have to go through just to get a small little goal.
But they have somebody like you that they can call and they can help them, point them in that direction, where if they were in a different city, they may not have that connection, or it may take them a couple of days before somebody calls them back.
Yes.
And by then,
they are not a number here at the Kokomo Housing Authority. I promise you that.
So that makes a big difference. And once again, that goes back to Kokomo being the city of first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Helping everybody.
There's just so many great resources here. There really is. And I was surprised coming into this in 2019 and just seeing how many are continuing to come and to help.
Yeah.
They're not alone. We're here for them.
That's great, though. I mean, it's great that it's not about me. It's about them, and we're here to help them and make it better for them.
Yes.
What can we do?
Now, speaking of what can we do, is there anything that the public can do to assist? Do you need anything? Donations? Is there any way we can help?
I think the most important thing, donations-wise, I don't think so, but is break down the misconception that people in poverty or people in public housing are criminals. It's not the case. It's a simple thing to do. If you do meet somebody that has a housing voucher, they're just people like you and me. They deserve to be treated with respect and to, just be friendly, be nice, all they want. They don't think they really need anything. And most people that I encounter, they don't want a handout.
They're probably scared.
Yeah. And they're not scary, I promise.
No, they're not.
Just want a chance.
Yeah. And we could give them one here
That's
in
right.
Kokomo with the Housing Authority. Chris, the ROS coordinator, with us this morning. Thank you, Chris, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Good luck.
That'll wrap up the Ripple Effect for today. I'm Jessica Osbrook. This is Kim Graves from Solidarity Community Federal Credit Union.